What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
We're here to talk about Episode 2, Winter Falcon.
Yep. Is that what you did in the last one?
I don't know. They'll tell me.
Great. We what was this? I don't even know what it was called. Just Episode 2. Right off
They
the
have
bat,
names?
I think they do.
It would be nice to know that if we had the internet down here.
Because WandaVision had names for all their episodes. But I mean, no non-spoilers right off the bat. I like the show. I enjoyed Episode 2. It's going there. It's hitting on racial topics, and more so in a way than I thought Disney would allow them to do.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I guess Disney's like, oh, people do care about racial topics and social justice, so let's actually get in here and talk about this kind of stuff.
Well, I don't think it's really social justice in the sense of, because there's no justice yet. It's just regular. It's just the regular world.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the fact that they're highlighting is like, oh, interesting. Okay.
This is the thing. I will say this. Disney has never, in their MCU, has never shied away from hard topics. A lot of people like to criticize Disney and the MCU for being lighthearted and everything else. And I'm like, they dropped the city because a homicidal maniac robot that they created wanted to take over the world and basically end all humanity. Like, I don't know how, like, does it need to be dark and filmed in darkness for them to, like, do we need to have Game of Thrones season 8 looking
Maybe not season
for them, because it was dark.
Oh, okay.
For people to understand, these issues and these themes that they talk about is very dark and heavy.
Yeah.
Think about it. The Infinity War ended on a cliffhanger with half the galaxy's population destroyed.
Yeah.
We started Endgame in counseling sessions. Well, how do we deal with the blip? Like, I don't understand why people take this idea that Disney is not willing to go there, because the Marvel comics themselves have been willing to go there.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think maybe it's a thing of when you try to pick apart stuff, you find the littlest thing. So many people wonder, like, maybe there aren't enough consequences for the superheroes, but you can kind of make that about a lot of superhero movies overall.
Yeah, I'll give them that you know, everything kind of always ends up, but
Pretty rosy.
I mean, unless you're, you know, Natasha Romanoff or the Vision
Yeah.
or Tony Stark.
But Vision's still alive. You got a white Vision.
Vision 2 is still alive.
You
Vision
got
2,
a Vision.
Vision 2.0 is still alive. The original got his brains
You're going
plucked
to get
out.
another Black Widow.
Blackish Widow.
With Florence Pugh or something. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're too early to get on our tangents. We're talking about Episode 2.
Woo!
Big things. What stuck out to you in Episode 2?
Episode 2, we understand that there are super soldiers. It's not just one of them, because we all thought it was just Bucky.
Now, here's the thing. Because in Civil War, there was a squad of them, right? That were
Hydra had
they had super soldiers. Is that the same formula that Captain
we don't
America
know yet.
took? Oh.
No, it's not the same formula Captain America took.
Okay.
Remember, the only formula Captain America was was. Are we getting into spoilers? Because I feel like we're.
Let's do Episode 2. We'd like to go watch it. Spoilers.
If you like it, I will give it. Before you go there, I will give it a 4 out of 4. Wah wah wah. Yeah, I'm lit today.
I feel like you changed your scoring system because I thought we did it out of 5, not out of 4.
No, I'm sorry. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I was going to give it 3, and then I thought about it. I was like, anyway, I give it at least a 3.5 to 4. It's not a 5 yet because there's so much they could have done with this episode, but they hit some things that I think that's going to send people down a rabbit hole. I've watched Hollywood Reporter. Everybody and their mother's talking about that scene. So let's get to it.
Kind of remind, spoiler alert, talking about Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah. How many did you give it?
Oh,
and I'm looking for the episode.
I give it a 4 out of 5.
The Star Spangled Man, that's what it's called.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. But it reminds me of when we first started watching Watchmen, and nobody knew about the Tulsa riots, or Black Wall Street, and it kind of sent people down a rabbit hole of, oh, this is real stuff. And granted, Isaiah Bradley's a fictional person, but it's, within the MCU.
But the thing is, so Isaiah Bradley's actually based on real events, not just about people of color, about America's dark history with eugenics. A lot of people don't realize the United States dabbled in eugenics way before Germany got into it. Germany just was better at it. I mean, they just went that way.
Better's a relative term, but
oh,
yeah,
you know what?
sure.
You're right. Better's not a. They just took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
America was like, undesirables, take this shot.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, to me, because I don't know all Marvel history, so I had kind of heard of Isaiah Bradley. I didn't really know who he was, but to see this person and who's the actor that I wish we had internet.
Hold on.
You think about it, but that
I know who it
actor was
is.
great.
Carl Lumbly. Woo!
Is that who that was?
Yep.
Now that you said, yeah.
Voice
yeah.
of Martian the Manhunter
Martian
from
Manhunter.
Justice League.
He was in Alias.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Woo! He's done a couple other people too. I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Oh, Boondocks. He was in Boondocks.
Okay. Yeah, he did a great job, and to see
We do have the internet. Carl Lumbly.
to see his performance up against. I want to also give a shout out to Bucky in this episode too.
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan is really stepping up to the plate and getting more scenes to work in and act amongst these other actors and show that he can do other stuff besides just be a brain dead killing machine. Now he's kind of getting his feelings back. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. Anything that you were like, yeah, nah.
I want more history on the Flag Smashers.
Uh-huh.
And some people noticed it because the one thing that's interesting about these Marvel shows and the actual comics that they come in is that you may miss something, but when you start to watch what books go up in value because of a name what was said or a teaser. So the name Power Broker showed up.
Yeah.
And we saw the Flag Smashers try to get away, and one guy was like, I'll hold them off. Mm-hmm. Now, my problem with that was, y'all ain't got guns. You just were going to 300 it.
It seemed weird
That was
that guy...
That was my problem with the
I
episode.
thought he was going to do something smarter, like maybe not
like
even...
hide, hit a car.
not even take him head on, but somehow really distract him besides just pushing the pole. It's like, oh, that's all you were doing?
That's why
Right.
That's why I couldn't give this a 5. That and something else we'll get to. You decided you was gonna chariots of fire run into bullets, 300 style.
I mean, maybe he thought the serum was going to do more than what it did.
Dun 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 dun.
Horrible.
He made bad choices.
He did.
I'm sorry.
did.
You could have easily waited for one of them cars to run by, and you got super soldier powers.
And push the car.
And run. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
You could have easily been on a roof,
Yeah.
put some AC ducts down. I mean, throwing a trash can. I saw dumpsters out there. You were at an airport. Throw them little blocks that keeps the plane in place.
Who is the guy working with U.S. Agent?
Oh, that's his black friend.
Yeah, what's his name?
Black Star.
Is it Black Star?
Battlestar. Sorry.
Battlestar's like, I don't think it's Black Star.
Sorry,
He is a Black Star.
I had the black best friend trope in my head.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting.
That he has a black best friend?
Yes.
That's every white superhero has to have one.
Right, and I think that it's interesting that Marvel did that. Is that how it is in the
Why?
comics too?
No, what do you mean interesting? Everybody has one. Captain America has one. Captain Marvel has one.
Right.
Doctor Strange has an Asian best friend.
You want to let me finish, or you just gonna keep spouting?
I mean, you said it was interesting. I'm just.
I didn't finish my thought.
It's a trope.
Okay,
Go
can I
ahead.
finish my thought? Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting because it highlights that for people who don't necessarily read the comics. And you're like,
No, I mean, I'm talking about just MCU.
right. But what I'm saying is here, I think it holds more weight because they're dealing with more racial issues. So I think people are looking at it differently. I'm not saying that this is the first show to do it. I'm saying that people are putting a spotlight on it more now because it's highlighted over everything else.
Do you think hold on, I'm not understanding. Are you saying it's Marvel's doing it intentionally and then it's causing the spotlight to people to notice it? Or are you saying that people are noticing and Marvel's like, ooh, maybe we shouldn't have done the black best friend in this one?
It's a little bit of both. It's because
WandaVision, black best friend.
Yeah. They kind of have the foot in their mouth because they've been doing all this entire time. But because you have this show run by Empire alum, Malcolm, what's his name? I don't know, Empire alum. Friend of the show, Empire alum.
I thought it was a bastardization. He was even allowed to touch the show. To get your Empire nastiness off of the greatness that is the MCU. You're from Fox, sir.
But
you
anyway,
don't even deserve to be here.
As they hit on these racial issues, it is interesting to see this guy, this white man who is the new Captain America, kind of have this friend, this black friend, like, oh, in this sense, we will allow you to work with Captain America and be part of the team as long as you're not Captain America.
Well, I think it also was one of those things where they tried to keep the aesthetic going. And that's why I said, I was asking you, where are you going with it? Because I think it was intentional they did it this time.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, in WandaVision, I just think it happened that way because they wanted to shoehorn in Monica Rambeau, the black best friend. They wanted to shoehorn Captain Marvel's best black friend to get Monica Rambeau. So it was almost like, how do we get this character in there? Quick, give him a best black friend. Got it. And that's how you get to this point. I don't know. I do think if it's subtle, your boy is smart. I also would like to know, is it intentional? Because if it is, then that makes the scene where Sam brings the shield back and he's like, you made the right decision, even much more dastardly because they had this in mind the entire time.
So to me, I feel like it is intentional, just based on what we're seeing so far in the show. I really like the fact that these police were about to take out an Avenger just because they didn't recognize who he was and he wasn't in his costume form. I was like, yeah, okay, Marvel's saying something.
I mean, that's what they do to. I mean, not to get up. Screw it. That's what happens in real life. Cops. There's a case right now in St. Louis where there are 3 officers on trial right now for beating up a black undercover cop because they just saw a protester. They didn't realize there was a black person who was a police officer who was undercover to monitor crimes that might have happened during this protest. Their excuse was, oh, we didn't know. And he might have been resisting arrest. That's why I said, it's not social justice. That's just the world we live in. I mean, they're not shying away from it because you can't do a show about a black Captain America and what that means versus what what Captain America meant for Steve Rogers, and that idea that he was a symbol, and then Sam saying it was more than that. Me and Chris Brathwaite, friend of the show, I remember when I first got social media, and one of my favorite artists, Travis Charest, made a print of Captain America. It's great. I'm talking old. He's got the wings. He's got the cuffs, the Pirates Caribbean, gloves and stuff. And he was like, "You like Captain America?" And I said, "Yeah," because as ignorant as Cap can be about what the country is, he's never ignorant about what it can be. And his relationship with Bucky, about the underworld and what happens, and then his relationship with Sam Wilson has made him a better person. And I've always, Captain America is one of those things where that's the ideal. You may never have perfection, but you always strive for that. And Captain America never, Steve Rogers, Captain America, never shied away from doing the right thing in face of, in opposition to his country, in opposition of world leaders, aka Civil War, either Captain America MCU or Civil War, the actual comic. Matter of fact, Civil War was born, the comic was born out of the Patriot Act. So there's this whole idea that, is Marvel going to touch on these things? A lot of these comics are born out of political things, racial animus, and Isaiah Bradley is no exception. So to educate people who Isaiah Bradley is, he is a member of the Super Soldier program to recreate what happened with Steve Rogers. We know that the guy, and I can't think his name is Henry, was killed. We know he was killed by a Hydra agent. That was it. That was the only serum. The idea was to duplicate the Super Soldier program. In comics, so this is why people are really excited about Winter Soldier. In comics, Captain America is Weapon 1. This is part of the same weapon program.
It's Weapon X.
There you go.
Right.
But Weapon X was created to do what? To tamp down and keep mutant population under control. Then to build from mutants the perfect super soldier. Isaiah Bradley was the second attempt and was the secret Captain America who fought that no one knew about. Now in comics,
he was doing all the dirty work. Captain America's getting.
Well, Captain America didn't know he existed until later on, after he was thawed out. Isaiah Bradley. So the difference between in the comic Truth, what is it called? Captain America Black White. I'll look it up in a second. But Isaiah Bradley in the comics, Captain America found out about him, and then attempted to find out more and rectify the situation. In the MCU, Cap never knew.
Right.
Bucky knew because Bucky fought him.
Right.
And
Got his
Bucky,
arm ripped off.
Yep. And Bucky kept it a secret because he didn't want Steve to know about all these things, because if you remember, Steve knew about Bucky and killing
Starks.
Yeah. And so I think that was Bucky's attempt to kind of leave Steve's mind a little sanitized. Now the difference is Isaiah Bradley has a super soldier serum. Now, reason why I brought up that whole eugenics thing is because how they created this story or crafted that story was through the idea that through the Tuskegee experiment, and America has experimented with eugenics in the past. We used to have a program that if you were an undesirable, we would sterilize you. Our country did that. There were people in North Carolina who had to sue the government, and this was in the last 10, 15 years, who finally got a settlement because they were considered either slow, they were considered mentally unstable, they were people with Down syndrome, and they did not want these people to procreate. We did that as in America's name. We did that to our citizens. He was born out of that program of experimenting on our own citizens. 300 black men were then taken, and then they tried to recreate this super soldier serum. That's a part of the shameful past that is America that they put in the MCU, because they're not pulling any punches with this, because when you go back and read and you realize, so it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this, because you saw Sam's face when Sam realized who he was.
Yeah.
That's a very telling. Now let's see what happens next.
We haven't talked about some of the other people just because that scene was so powerful. Let's talk about Wyatt Russell.
Woo! Y'all hate him yet?
I don't hate him yet.
Really?
Not yet.
I
know I will hate him.
You didn't get Homelander vibes from him in this episode?
Not
Stay
yet.
out of my way?
Not yet.
Ooh, okay.
To me, I just like, and maybe I missed it. I mean, I feel like we'll get in the third episode.
Okay.
But to me, I feel like they try to humanize him a little bit at the beginning when he's like, I guess I can be in this program. I don't know if I should be able to do whatever for this program. And then you see he kind of turns on the charm a little bit. And that was a little bit sleazy and a little smarmy in terms of...
Oh, yeah.
Side note, Disney owning everything sucks, but it's also great because you can just see, there's nothing to have Good Morning America here. Sure, they're a part of it, easily. Which is a real thing that could happen.
But you're right, and that's what I love about this, is that we've seen those puff pieces. We've seen people try to do those puff pieces here. We have seen how people will try to manipulate the media to get their point of view across, and I love that they did that. They did this whole thing to show...
That marching band was fire. That theme was great.
Whatever. Nah.
That marching was great.
That marching band was a bunch of traitors, and they should have never played.
I killed it.
I tell you what.
When the credits were rolling, it was like, yes.
You know what? A real marching band that believed in America would have never played for somebody named Steve Rogers. I tell you that.
Okay.
I tell you that.
Okay, go ahead.
I like Wyatt in the sense of this foil, and it's going to show what happens to a man who wants the mantle so bad and wants to be this without actually understanding what it means to be Captain America.
Yeah.
Because
comic-wise, does he have powers?
I mean, so the super soldier serum in the comics is tricky.
Okay.
They're like, oh no, we don't have it, and then it's like there's 37 super soldiers running around and jumping out of planes.
Is he a super soldier?
He's not really a super soldier, but
Okay.
he is a... Now, we don't know yet. It could come out later that it's like...
Yeah.
But we don't know, because we do know there are some serums running around.
Right.
We know the Flag Smashers have some type of serum. We know that the serum, some version of the serum, showed up in Civil War that Hydra had.
Yeah.
So...
At this point, we know that he is at least an advanced soldier.
Yes.
He's one of the
He's
best.
fought some wars. He's fought some battles.
Right. And he's very good at his job.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, I got that from this, that he was good at his job. Or at least the government thought he was good at his job.
I see. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm gonna say that he was good at what they wanted him to do.
Okay.
And see, there's a difference because you and I both have worked in places where being good at your job is not the same as being what management wants.
Sure.
Could be something that happens here. Just saying. Also, in this episode, we got to see Elijah Bradley, which is the grandson
Yes.
of Isaiah Bradley, who then ends up being Patriot, who ends up being on the Young Avengers.
I mean, more and more Young Avengers keep showing up.
So my theory is that 3 groups are being formed in our within our eyes: the Young Avengers, Thunderbolts, and I'm not sure if they're yet. So I'm gonna hold back on the third one. I'm like,
all right, tease us.
I'm just like, ugh.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going that way but I do believe, Masters of Evil. I'm going there because I wonder if that's where they're going. But Elijah Bradley had no powers because in the serum or in this idea to create their super soldier, they sterilized the soldiers.
Okay.
It wasn't until Elijah, through different situations and events, almost died, and then Isaiah gave him a blood transfusion, and then that saved his life, and then he got to super soldier powers.
Okay.
And it's called. This is what you guys should be reading if you like this show. Just read it just because. It's called Truth, Red, White, and Black. It's the first appearance of Isaiah Bradley. It's basically the project's called Project Rebirth, because basically what they're trying to do is recreate the Super Soldier program. It was created by Robert Morales, Kyle Barker, and Axel Alonso, who was the chief editor at the time of Marvel. He shepherded a lot of good books. Kyle Baker, I apologize. His art style is a lot to be. It sometimes it can rub people the wrong way. It's not a very smooth. It's not your McFarlane. It's not your Jim Lee. It's very, very. I don't want to say cartoony. He's done his own creative work, and so when they gave him this book, a lot of people were like, "Huh," and it hit some very tough things.
Okay.
So I recommend just reading it just to read it. If you enjoy a good story, it's probably going to differ very greatly from what they're going to do in the MCU.
Okay.
But this story, 1, needs to be told, and 2, it's very relevant of what's going on right now, which is interesting because it seems every Marvel movie or every Marvel show hits at a time, I don't know how they do it, where whatever's going on in their show or movie
parallels the real world.
Now, I don't know if they're causing this stuff. I don't know if Disney has that kind of power.
Kevin Feige has that kind of power.
I would not be surprised if the House of Mouse has a machine. Remember the movie The Avengers when they had the weather machine with Sean Connery?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Chapek has that.
Spin the wheel like this is what we're gonna.
That's what we're gonna do. And that's why they waited to not roll out Winter Falcon until now.
Okay.
Because they could have done it last year.
Okay.
They was like, nah, let's do it.
Let's talk about Flag Smashers. Are they a good group or are they a bad group?
So the original Flag Smasher was Carl. Hold on. Let me get his last name. Carl Morgenthau.
Okay.
He was the original Flag Smasher. This one is Carly. Okay. So I don't know if we're doing gender.
Like they did with Ghost.
Or are we doing this is his daughter or a relative? They were not good guys. Okay. So it's going to be interesting to see because they seem to be bad guys, but that's because they do things the wrong way to do the right thing. Because remember, they were giving out medicine. They were actually helping people because they felt like, why are you spending so much money on people who just got here when we were struggling this entire time?
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how they play out because we still haven't seen Zemo.
We saw him for 2 seconds.
And 2, we still hadn't seen
Agent Carter. And
and I'm telling y'all, it's rumored, I don't know if he was going to show up, but supposedly the Russian super soldier Omega Red is in this show. And so you've got, and they mentioned the Power Broker. So you've got multiple bad guys. So the Flag Smashers might be the initial, and then they may say, "Ooh, we might need to team up with y'all. We getting our ass kicked."
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, show continues to keep moving forward. Marvel has done a good job at doing their movies, but also teasing out information or doling out information in these episodes to make you want to see the next episode, but not also be upset that you haven't seen it yet. I feel like they're doing a good job of keeping up with the pace. I feel like I'm getting enough information per episode to not be like, I need more.
I like that they're doing that. My only problem with that is I feel like with Isaiah Bradley, I would have liked to have more.
Sure.
I would like to have known more about the Flag Smashers. But again, I'm being greedy. I want that. But I think that there's going to be an episode, kind of like you mentioned The Watchmen, where we had all these questions. What does this mean? What does this mean? And then there's this Whiskey Tango Foxtrot episode, and you're like, it's all connected, and we're Charlie Day.
Yeah.
And we're all like, we've got the string, and we're like, the mail just keeps coming.
Yeah.
We had that with WandaVision, when we finally got outside of the, whatever you want to call it, and we got to see the blip and everybody coming back, and then Darcy shows up, and it's like, oh. So I feel like we're going to get that. It's only 6 episodes, but I also am a little scared that they've made a date for Black Widow, and there's more that we're not going to get until that movie comes out.
Would you think like they're going to stop showing episodes?
No, I think that there's like a bunch of information as far as like the Super Soldier program. Because remember, we know who the main people are. We know that the Red Guardian is in this movie, played by
Harbour.
What is his real name now?
David Harbour.
I thought you said Harper.
No, Harbour.
Oh, okay.
David Harbour.
So we know he's in it. Making stuff up.
I know it could be.
I'm gonna report. So I think what is going to happen in Black Widow's movie is you're going to see these connections, because we know Black Widow mentions she knew Bucky. We're going to see the Red Room. We're going to see the Soviet super soldier program. Which
do you think we'll see Omega Red then?
I think my personal take is Omega Red is showing up in this, and then we will see how he was created or more information in Black Widow, because I think Taskmaster is a super soldier. Okay. I think how they're going to do his or her, because we don't know we don't see boob armor, but it could be a woman. This super soldier program, I think, is going to be a very strong theme throughout this MCU now that Captain America's gone, and the fact that everybody has been trying to duplicate it for a century now. And let's see where they go with it, because we know that there is the Red Room. We know Natasha's connection with it. We also know Natasha messed up and released all those files from Hydra, and that's how Zemo was able to get and figure out stuff. Right. So we know he's not the only player. And we know the U.S. government is still a little pissed at her for that foolishness that she pulled off. So let's see what happens and how, because again, the reason why Winter Falcon was pushed back was because Black Widow wasn't released, and they tie in together.
I thought it got pushed back for Corona reasons.
I think it got pushed back for Corona, but I also think they pushed it back because these two, more so than any other movie and show, tie in together because of their connections. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I still think 2 people are going to show up in Black Widow. Bucky and Hawkeye. Okay. I still think those 2, and possibly the Red Hulk.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm hot takes. I love it. I hope it all comes true. Just to get wild and
we'll see.
Whatever. Yeah. That's it for us for episode 2. We'll have episode 3 out sooner or later. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
This guy.
That guy right there. But you can find us here on YouTube, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com.
Let us know what you thought about the episode in the comments. Let us know. What do you think is going to happen? What's your bold prediction? Because we got 4 episodes left.
Yeah, it's almost over. Like, comment, subscribe, and we out.